Hiya guys, Crazy Teacher Nick back here with a very much requested video for you guys. This one is about narrative writing. Okay. Before we start, I just want to give you a bit of a warning. You do not want to go into the exam without a story. So you want to start your story. You want to go into the exam, and if you're going to be doing narrative or descriptive writing, you want to have already pre-planned your narrative writing. You should have a couple of topics that you want to use going into your narrative writing. So don't arrive on the day in your exam hoping that you're going to get a good question. You're going to go in already with a plan. Remember, tick, 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 tock, time. So you arrive with a plan and you will adapt your plan to whatever title they give you in the exams. The examiners know that this is going to happen. Okay, so make sure you go in with a plan. So what makes a good story? So here are a couple of very well-known books, and these are the opening lines of some of these really wonderful books. The opening line is really, really important because that is the hook for your reader, and your examiner is a reader. They are. So you want to hook them right from the very, very beginning. Look at all the different things that these writers have done in all of these different opening lines to make sure that their audience is engaged from the first sentence. Make your title count, make your first sentence count. Okay. I mean, I think one of the most famous ways is Moby Dick by Herman Melville. Call me Ishmael. It's iconic. Everybody knows it. Or go something a little bit weird. You are beginning to read Italo Calvino's new novel, If on a Winter's Night a Traveler. And that was the name of the book. Okay. And this is also one of my favorites as well. Psychics can see the color of time. It's blue. I think that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Or a screaming comes across the sky. Start in the action. That's what's going to grab the attention of your examiner. As with all of our texts, narrative writing has conventions. This is what the examiners are expecting to see in your writing. And guys, you know how I keep talking about how important it is to study your conventions. A compelling plot, characters, dialogue, okay, vivid description, structural devices, language devices, sentence and paragraph structure, okay, surprising, interesting impact, just not cliffhangers. No cliffhangers allowed. And of course, creating that nice cyclical cycle of opening and ending in an interesting and satisfying way. That first line's got a punch, and that last line has got to be memorable. So when the examiner is giving you those marks, it's gonna flow. So, plot. So, there are lots of different plot styles out there, okay? And your story must have a plot. It must have some sort of a structure. Now, my students will know, because there's a pyramid here, okay, what the next image is going to be. It is from Freitag, okay, my German friend. Now, you guys should know about Freitag's pyramid, especially if you have studied your GCSEs. Okay, we discuss it in GCSEs, we develop it in AS level. So the Your story wants to have some sort of a movement, okay? And when it comes to narrative writing, there is movement in time, okay? So you have a beginning, you have a middle, and you have an end, okay? Very different to your um, descriptive writing. I got a video on descriptive writing. If you subscribed, I'm sure you would have seen it. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay, so you'll have a beginning. Okay, my favorite story in the world, Little Red Riding Hood. It's the best story that's ever been told because it is the perfect story. It has everything you need for a perfect short story. Okay, the exposition, the background information. Little Red Riding Hood, she's growing up baking cookies with her mummy. She lives in a beautiful house on the side of the forest, whatever it is. It sets the scene. Okay. Little Red Riding Hood, the mum says, hey, off you go, take these cookies off to grandma. And then we have the inciting incident. Something that changes the direction of the story. Now, you can start in the inciting incident. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's almost encouraged to start at the inciting incident. You can then flash back to the exposition and then continue with your rising action. Wonderful structural devices being used there. The inciting incident, okay, is where Little Red Riding Hood meets the big bad wolf. Okay, and the big bad wolf says, hello little girl, where you going? The little girl says, oh, I'm on my way to grandma. He says, well, can I have a biscuit? He's like, no, you can't have a biscuit. I'm taking these biscuits to grandma. He says, well, you can take this shortcut. And then you have the rising action. We as the audience know Little Red Riding Hood is still walking her way through the forest. Big bad wolf arrives at grandma's house. Children's story. Eats grandma or sticks her in the cupboard, depending on where your story comes from. And then we get to the most important part of the story. Okay? We know as the audience that it is the wolf that's in the bed dressed in grandma's clothes. But Little Riding Hood doesn't know that. So Little Red Riding Hood now builds the tension. Oh, Grandma, what a big nose you've got. Oh, Grandma, what big ears you've got. Oh, Grandma, you really need to pluck the hairs on your face. That's pretty scary. Oh, Grandma, what big teeth you got. And then the wolf jumps up and says, all the better to eat you with. And we have that falling action where basically this climax gets taken care of. All the issues get taken care of, okay? A woodcutter or a hunter, or whoever it is, people have different things. He hears the scream of Little Red Riding Hood, bursts into the room, kills the poor old wolf. Okay? He just wanted a cookie. Anyways, kills the wolf, frees the grandmother from the cupboard, or they cut the wolf open, out jumps grandmother, depends on which scene you want, okay? The resolution. Grandma sits down, Little Red Riding Hood sits down, the hunter / woodcutter, they sit down, they have some wonderful cookies, and there's the poor old wolf lying there. Oh, okay. So I feel sorry for the wolf. I'm just saying. Little Red Riding Hood, if she hadn't been so greedy and so mean to the wolf when she was going through the woods, just giving the poor hungry wolf a couple of cookies, all of this could have been avoided, but that's just me. Okay, and then of course the denouement, okay, they all live happily ever after. Nice way to end the story. They live happily ever after. Nobody does it anymore. Everybody tries to have a cliffhanger and nobody knows how to write a cliffhanger. And all it does is it just looks like you ran out of time and you never finished your story. Beginning, middle, end. This is the structure for your story. Structure your word count for these different sections. So for your exposition, you might have about 50 to 75 words. Initial incident, maybe about 50 words. Rising action, maybe about 70 words. Climax, maybe about 100 words. Then maybe about 25 words. Falling action, resolution, 25, 35 words. Denouement, 25, 35 words. There you go. You got your 700 words. Pretty straightforward. Okay, I don't do maths. I'm the English teacher. You get the idea. Work out your word count that you need for each of those sections. You can plan your story in advance. Okay. The next thing you need to think about is your characters. Okay. On the right-hand side, we have the evil Little Red Riding Hood, that selfish child. Okay. Think about why they called him the big bad wolf and not the friendly, kind wolf who was starving. He didn't want to eat the little bunnies in the forest because he loved them so much. All he wanted was a biscuit. And that Little Red Riding Hood, she just wouldn't give a biscuit. She's so mean and evil. She deserved what had coming to her. Okay, maybe that's a bit weird. Okay, but your characters are so important. What the name that you give your characters is so very, very important. And one of my favorite writers, Charles Dickens, he actually used to name his characters after their personality so that you could actually get an idea of who the character was by their name, which I think is a wonderful thing to do. Okay. So how do you bring your characters to life? Describe how they are dressed. Okay. Little Red Riding Hood, that red hood that she's hiding something. How do they treat others? Look at how Little Red Riding Hood treats the poor little wolf. No, the biscuits are mine. I'm not sharing them with you. I'm taking them to Grandma. She's mean. Okay. How do they talk to others? Think about how she talks to the wolf. Okay. She's quite rude to the poor little wolf. Okay. How do other people talk about the character? So dialogue. This is where you use your dialogue. Dialogue is not hi, hello, I'm fine, how are you? You want to make sure that dialogue helps develop your characters. Either the way that they're talking to somebody or how others talk about them. It allows your audience to understand who the characters are. So many students forget to develop their characters. And I warn you, keep your characters limited. 2 characters, 3 at the very most. Because every time you introduce a new character, every time you name a new character, you've got to develop that character. Otherwise, your reader is left asking, who was that? Why were they in the story? And your story starts to fall apart. How do they behave towards other people? How do others behave towards the character? Are they afraid of Little Red Riding Hood? Why does the mother let her go through the woods on her own? Okay, does she not trust, does she not like the child, or does she know that the child is dark? Okay. How does the reader relate to the character? What is their background? Do they have any history? Do they have a job? What is their location? Living in a little house, baking cookies with mummy. Going through the deep, dark woods. Okay, it reflects badly on the poor old little wolf guy. Okay, starving in the forest. Eating grass, the poor thing. And when do they appear in the text? And that is also quite important. Okay, so the kind and gentle wolf, he appears later in the text. The grandmother only appears almost only at the climax. And our woodcutter, he only appears right at the very, very end. It tells us who is the major character and who is the minor character. So make sure that you bring your characters to life. Setting, okay? Guys, You don't want more than 2 settings. Again, Little Red Riding Hood, Grandma's house, okay, maybe the woods, and you get a little bit of a sense of the setting of Little Red Riding Hood's house at the very beginning. But most of the action is taking place in Grandma's house, so you've got to develop that. Okay, you might want to describe it. Okay, it also influences the tone of your text. Okay, it gives a background to your text as how your text will develop, why your characters are there. It can create that mood for that text. It was a dark and stormy night. And it allows you to be specific. It allows you to show off a little bit. Okay, use landmarks or recognizable historical sites. Okay, the examiners like it when you are specific. And it doesn't matter if you say that the Eiffel Tower, the Tower of Eiffel, is in Rouen and not in Paris. Okay, they don't mind. But having those recognizable historical sites just gives your text a bit of flavor. Okay, you can even turn your location into an antagonist that affects your protagonist actions. The stormy mountain raged at the climber, tearing at his clothes with his icy claws. Okay, or the big dark woods. Okay, it's scary. Okay, it's eerie. Something bad is going to happen. It's a setting. It's a location. Grandma's house. It's a place where the Little Red Riding is supposed to be safe. But we get the wolf. So there's that contrast. Nice, very nice in terms of building your setting. Be descriptive. Use those adjectives. Use those similes, use those metaphors, okay? Use the senses, okay? Use the sounds, the smells, the spidey senses. A cold wind passed through her. Show, don't tell, okay? I mean, let the reader imagine the setting. And so a good example is here, sunlight pierced the recesses of her brain. I mean, that is showing, not telling the audience. It allows the audience to realize that the sun was really bright. Maybe it was giving her a headache. Okay. Use real specific locations. Avoid vague locations. Be very specific. So, the pyramid of the sun in Teotihuacan loomed over him. The 1,000 steps, daring Teacher Nick to crawl his way to the summit. Yeah, that's Teacher Nick in Mexico at the top of the Pyramid of the Sun. Yeah, they've got pyramids in Mexico. Okay. Use figurative language. Fiery dragon spewed its deadly fire like a volcano. No, we want to be specific. Spewed its deadly fire like Mount Etna, covering the valley in crimson golden liquid of fire. Look how young Teacher Nick looked. Behind me is the Pyramid of the Sun, just for those that are interested. To all my Mexican students, what's up? Okay. So, how to create drama and suspense. A lot of the questions ask this. Create drama and suspense in your writing. So don't be in a rush. Create a plan. Okay? Tell secrets and lies. Don't give away the ending in the first paragraph. Students do it all the time. And you read the first paragraph and you know how it's going to end. Okay? Be secretive. Lie to your audience a little bit. Okay? Think about your setting. Okay? You're not going to be able to create that drama and suspense on a sunny beach with beach balls and nice sand. You want to create something darker. Okay. Use dramatic irony. Okay. The reader knows, but the character doesn't. Think about Little Red Riding Hood again. We know it's the wolf. Okay. She's blind and needs glasses. Okay. End paragraphs powerfully. Think about this if you were reading a novel. Okay. Don't give away, each paragraph is written, it's got a topic sentence, okay, it's got main body, and then think about your concluding sentence. You want to basically make your reader think, oh, what will happen in the next paragraph? Fill the reader with anticipation. Show, don't tell. I keep on talking about it. Guys, there's a million videos on the internet. Show, don't tell. Let the reader experience the story. Okay. As a writer, you create suspense through a drip feed, a controlled release of information to your readers. Allow them to ask questions. That's what engages the reader. It makes them want to find out what happens next. Plant those seeds of issues that might happen early in the story. Little Red Riding Hood, take it to your grandma. Okay, she goes to the dark woods. You're already kind of like, oh, Little Red Riding Hood, are you going to be okay going through the dark woods? Oh, no, a wolf. Oh. Okay. Nurture these ideas long before. So you're drip feeding all these little hints. Tension and anticipation go hand in hand when writing drama. Okay. Final tips. Plan. If you don't have a plan, okay, use the Freitag's pyramid. Create a plan. However you plan, create a plan. Examiners like to see it on your exam paper. Don't forget to put a line through it. Be bold. Be specific. Take a look at Teacher Adna's videos on how to be specific. Okay, I'll drop a link down below. Use strong adjectives. Okay, it's not ugly, it's hideous. Okay, it's not big, it's enormous. Okay, use that figurative language, all of them. Similes, pathetic fallacy, onomatopoeia. Okay, the word freaks me out a little bit. I shouldn't have put in the video. Okay. Language devices. You know your language devices. Use them. Insert them at every opportunity. Your structural devices. Shift in focus. Zoom out. Character introduction. Your examiners, that is what they are marking you for. They don't care about your pretty story. You are writing for effect to have an impact on your reader. Okay. Pre-write possible stories. You will pre-write. Go through the exams and have a look. Okay, you're going to see a couple in a minute. Okay, write a couple of openings, write a couple of characterizations, prepare before you go into the exams. You're going to be marked on your punctuation. Know how to use your semicolons, your colons, all your punctuation. Build your vocabulary. Study one word a day. Okay, be interesting in your writing. Okay, and I warn my students about this. They know that basically I will reach through the screen and bonk them on the head if they ever have this waking up or waking up from a dream. Okay, I call it the marshmallow effect. I dreamt I was eating a giant marshmallow. When I woke up, my pillow was gone. Okay, no waking up ever. You will never have waking up anywhere in your text. No waking up at the beginning of your story. I woke up and saw the light streaming through the window. No, we don't care about you waking up. Get downstairs, finish your breakfast, get out the door. That's where the action happens. No waking up and no dream sequences. No violence. Every year the examiners complain that students have basically just written a copy of GTA. Guys, it's you. No GTA. Okay? No GTA, no guns, no violence, no bad language. It just upsets the examiners. They're old. They're like me. We don't like horrible things like shooting and guns and chasing people and chased them in the car for 3 paragraphs and then I shot them and then there was blood. No, we don't like that. Okay. Guys, remember, like, subscribe, okay? If you've got any questions, drop them down below. Okay. And you guys rock. Oh, yeah, we had just crossed the 1,600 subscribers. So keep subscribing. You guys are doing great.